अबाउट कनेक्शन कोच, अबाउट मेंटरिंग, अबाउट स्पीकर। तो उससे पहले मैं शुरुआत से शुरू करता हूँ। आप दुबई कब गए? मैं छोटी सी स्टोरी शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि जब मैं छोटा था तो मैं हमेशा दुबई जाना चाहता, ऑलवेज वांटेड टू गो टू दुबई। मैं अनफॉर्चुनेटली अभी तक नहीं जा पाया। आई वाज इन सऊदी अरेबिया, वहां से भी काफी बार प्लान बना। February maybe I was about to go.
Seen me change over the years.
Okay, she saw you change. That's why she changed, or she changed herself, and you change yourself, and then you connect.
I guess she saw me change, and because she saw me change, she changed her ways as we go free.
Right.
They have to understand that, and I think that is very important for a parent-child relationship.
Right. तो आपने ये सब you just started working on that. कंक्लूजन निकल कर आया इस पे। आपने पहले की बात की कि हमारे टाइम में अगर ये सिनेरियो मेरे साथ होता, मुझे पता है मेरे बाद मुझे कमरे में बंद करते और बस कुट देते और कुछ नहीं करना था। कोई साइकोलॉजी नहीं, कुछ नहीं है। ये कैसे करना, इससे बिल्कुल अपोजिट है। मतलब इस हमारे टाइम में नहीं मानता था कोई कि पापा ने जो बोल दिया वो बोल दिया। पर ऐसा नहीं, सिर्फ मेरे साथ था या आपके साथ था, मतलब ये हमारे सारे साथ के लोगों के साथ ऐसा ही था।
Thank you, Saquib, for having me on this with you. Basically, I'm from Mumbai, but I'm living in Dubai, and I am a connection coach. Now, I know it sounds very different when someone says connection coach. What is a connection coach? Because there are so many type of coaches now.
ग्रेट। तो मैं इस पे तो जरूर, मतलब मेरा क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी रेडी है अबाउट कनेक्शन कोच, अबाउट मेंटरिंग, अबाउट स्पीकर। तो उससे पहले मैं शुरुआत से शुरू करता हूँ। आप दुबई कब गए? मैं छोटी सी स्टोरी शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि जब मैं छोटा था तो मैं हमेशा दुबई जाना चाहता था। आई ऑलवेज वांटेड टू गो टू दुबई। मैं अनफॉर्चुनेटली अभी तक नहीं जा पाया। आई वाज इन सऊदी अरेबिया, वहां से भी काफी बार प्लान बना। February में भी आई वाज अबाउट टू गो, बट ये कोविड का कुछ इशू हो गया, कुछ पर्सनल भी प्रॉब्लम्स हो गए, तो मैं तब भी नहीं जा पाया। तो अब ऐसा नहीं है कि जा नहीं सकता, आई कैन गो टुमारो व्हेनेवर आई प्लान। बट पहले मेरा एक सपना था, यार मुझे दुबई जाना है, मुझे दुबई जाके काम करना है। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हमें सुन रहे होंगे अभी, जिनको दुबई लगता है कि कंट्री ऑफ लाइक एक सपनों की दुनिया है। तो मैं चाहता हूं आप थोड़ा सा अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करें। आप कब दुबई गए, कितना टाइम आपको वहां हो गया, एंड हाउस लाइफ देयर, एंड जो लोग वहां जाने का सपना रखते हैं एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए या अपने सपनों को पूरा करने के लिए, तो व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन दैट?
So I came to Dubai 21 years back. So I got married and I came to Dubai, and I've been living here since then. But I will want to say this very strongly that my heart is still in Mumbai. Okay, so it's I think it's where you are born and brought up. That's the place that you always love, no matter what, and it's always been there. As far as working in Dubai is concerned, it's been a great place. It's given me a lot in all these years. Whoever wants, dreams of coming to Dubai, I know everyone has this big fantasy ki Dubai is a place where you go and you earn and you are just
right.
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. It's, of course, you earn because of course the currency exchange hai and you feel that way, but you're equally working as hard as you're working in any other country, and you're doing equal amount of work. But of course there is a lot more luxury, there's a lot more lifestyle differences here. But other than that, I think it's a world place which has grown really, really fast. So from the time I landed in Dubai to what I have seen here today in the last 20 years, it's a massive and dramatical change that the country has had. And I think that fast-paced change that has happened in this place is what really draws people to this place. And of course, it's a beautiful place, no doubt about that. It's given me everything that I would have wished for. But I still feel that somewhere my heart is still in India.
I can totally understand that. जब मैं सऊदी अरेबिया था, मैं कुछ साल वहां काम किया, तो जब भी मतलब शहर का नहीं, अपने देश का इंसान भी कोई दिखता था तो लगता था कि अरे यार शायद मिल लूं, मैं बात कर लूं, मैं पूछ लूं कि इंडिया में सब कैसा है। इट्स नॉट कि मेरे शहर में सब कैसा है। तो ये इमोशंस तो रहते हैं जहाँ पे आप पैदा होते हैं, थोड़े बड़े होते हैं, तो ये सब रहता है। तो आपको क्या लगता है, व्हाट इज दैट नंबर वन रीजन why people want to go to abroad, not in Dubai, people want to go abroad. So आपके according क्या एक ऐसा reason है जो उनको लगता है यहाँ रह के यार वो fulfill नहीं हो पा रहा है? Let's move out of the country. What is the fundamental reason according to you?
I think it's a very different mindset for everybody. I mean, हर एक का एक, I mean, I never wanted to go abroad, to be very honest. I always wanted to be in India, but it was just that life took me here, and I got married, and I came here, and that's where life took me. But I think many people have this feeling that if I go to another country, I'm going to be able to earn more money, I'm going to have a better lifestyle, which yes, you do to a larger extent, but then you're also compromising on a lot of things jo matlab, you know, like when you're at your home place or your home country, you have so many people around you which you're so connected with, your own family and all of that. So har ek ka, I think the way they look at things bahut alag hai, but I think number one reason why people go abroad is really to earn money and
Exactly.
to, you know, pick themselves up from there. And then most of them who I've seen would want to go back, but probably for some reason or the other they aren't able to go back, and then they want to stay back here, or they've got so used to this place now that they feel difficult to go back or challenged to really go back and work there.
Right. And you raised a very valid point. Money is the number one reason why people go abroad. मुझे अभी भी याद है, मैं सऊदी अरेबिया में कुछ ऐसे लोगों को जानता हूं जो पिछले 30 से 35 साल से वहां पर ही हैं, और वो जाना चाहते हैं इंडिया. उनकी कोई लग्जरियस जॉब भी नहीं है, वो एक लोअर क्लास सी क्लास जॉब पे हैं, अपना बहुत एफर्ट डाल रहे हैं. 35 साल में वो हर 2 साल के बाद घर जाते हैं. 35 साल में 17 बार वो हिंदुस्तान गए हैं, और वो अपने बच्चों से मिलते हैं, अपनी फैमिली से मिलते हैं. और मैं उनसे हमेशा ये पूछता था, क्यों आप इस देश में क्यों हैं? तो उन्होंने कहा, फाइनेंशियल रीजंस आर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रीजंस वी हैव. हमें नहीं लगता कि हिंदुस्तान जाके हम उतना पैसा कमा पाएंगे. और बट मैं हमेशा लोगों से कहता हूं, क्योंकि जो लोग बाहर काम करते हैं उनको पता है कि छुट्टी का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता बाहर. वहां पर ऐसा नहीं है कि सुबह को आपको फीवर आ गया तो आप टीएल को मैसेज कर दें कि ट्रैफिक का इश्यू है, समथिंग हैपेंड इन माय फैमिली. और इतनी मेहनत अगर कोई, मुझे लगता है हिंदुस्तान में भी करेगा, इंडिया में भी करेगा, अपने देश में करेगा, जिस भी देश में आप हैं, मुझे लगता है कि वो अपना ब्रेड एंड बटर अच्छे से चला सकता है. क्योंकि बाहर जाके लोग, मैंने देखा है, ज्यादा मेहनत करते हैं कंपैरिजन टू लिविंग इन देयर ओन कंट्री.
I may a little bit have different views on this,
I would love to know that.
Yeah, because I do think that it's not that in this country we don't have the luxury of waking up in the morning and messaging and saying that, you know, we've fallen sick. ऐसा नहीं होता है in most of the places. But yes, I know when it comes to the labor class workers, or when it comes to a little lower category of workers, where that is the only, because they're having daily wages most often.
Right.
So that's where they struggle, or they have those kind of you know, inhibitions that they don't want to do it. But if you look at their lifestyle, what they have here,
right,
they may be staying in very small houses, or they may be staying in sharing, but the luxury that they are able to provide their family is way larger than when they would have tried the same in India or in their own hometown or their home
right,
country.
right.
And I guess that is the only reason which draws people to, you know, to this kind of place, or to this kind of work. Like for me, it was never about being abroad, but it was more about my family is here, so I have to be here, and then I've got used to the lifestyle here.
Right.
And I would love to go back if there's an opportunity at any point of time. I would love to go back, but again, at this juncture of my life, I cannot just leave my work and things like that and
Right.
say, okay, I'm packing off today and going
21
back. And
years, a long time. I can understand.
Yeah. So these, I think that is the most important thing, where people, and then again, when you have children, they grow up in a country, in a different country. For them to connect back to your own country is also a challenge, because they have never lived there. So for them, this is the country that has given them everything, and then they connect only to this country, just like how we would connect to our country. So
100%. No, different opinion, but I will totally agree with you what you said, and I just wish everybody all the very best. कि जो भी बाहर जाने का सपना रखते हैं, एटलीस्ट मुझे लगता है कि सपने जरूर पूरे होने चाहिए, और मुझे लगता है सपने पूरे होते हैं अगर आप सही तरीके से अपने सपनों पे काम करें तो जिसका भी सपना है वो जरूर पूरा हो. तो ये तो बात हो गई दुबई की. हम थोड़ा शुरुआत से शुरू करेंगे। आप 21 साल, आपको 20 साल 21 साल दुबई में हो गए, आपने स्कूलिंग अपनी बॉम्बे से की सारी?
हाँ जी।
वहां से की। तो आपका क्या पैशन, आपका क्या जर्नी थी, व्हाट यू वांटेड टू डू बिफोर मैरिज, जब आप पढ़ रहे थे? ये बहुत बहुत पीछे जाना पड़ेगा हमें इसके लिए, बट मैं चाहता हूँ, आई एम वेरी क्यूरियस। मैं आपको बता दूं, ये सेशंस करने का रीजन सिर्फ इतना ही है। पहले तो आई जस्ट लव टू इंटरेक्ट विद पीपल, नंबर वन। आई वांट टू ऐड सम वैल्यू टू द पर्सन हु वॉच दिस सेशंस ऑन यूट्यूब और फेसबुक, वेरेवर इट मे बी। तो मेरा रीजन सिर्फ यही है। इससे सिर्फ यही है कि मुझे लोगों के बारे में जानना बड़ा पसंद है। एज अ मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर, आई जस्ट लव टू इंस्पायर पीपल, मोटिवेट पीपल, पीपल्स स्टोरीज एंड जर्नी। सो वो मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि आपका क्या, यहाँ आने से पहले जब आप पढ़ रहे थे, व्हाट वाज योर माइंडसेट, व्हाट यू वांटेड टू डू, व्हाट यू वांटेड टू बिकम? थोड़ा पीछे चल के हम इसकी बात करते हैं, प्लीज।
Yeah, it's very strange you ask me this question because when I was studying in India, I was a science student and I always wanted to somehow be a doctor.
Okay.
But for reasons unknown, it didn't happen, or for whatever reasons, I couldn't manage it at that time. And then I thought I always wanted to be a teacher because that was something that I really loved doing. And I kind of felt I had a knack for it. But when it came to shouldering responsibilities, I had to pick up a job very early on. So I used to teach students part-time, but then I also was working in an insurance company. No, I didn't start with an insurance company, but I started with aptech education. So I started as a counselor, so which was related to teaching in some way or the other. But when I came down to Dubai, I again got a job in the same organization and I worked for a couple of years. And then slowly, then I had a baby. So I left work for a few months. And then when I rejoined, I didn't want to go on a full-time job completely. So I started off working with an insurance company. And then slowly I grew myself there at different levels, started off first with sales, then went into administration, and then I went into learning and development and training and coaching. So really training and coaching has been a very core aspect of my life right from the beginning.
Okay.
Somehow मुझे किसी को समझाना, किसी से बात करना, किसी के to help people resolve things is something which I've always had, knowingly, unknowingly. But then I was working for about 20, up until now, I've been working for 25 years in the corporate world. And last 3-4 years, I have started to work on my own, which is my coaching practice that I do with people and I help people. This also started off very differently because when my daughter was a teenager, we had a lot of difference in opinion.
Okay.
तो ऐसे होता था कि she was a very strong-headed child and I was a very strong-headed woman. So we both had a lot of clashes and we both used to have arguments. But as a child, I never experienced this kind of thing with my parents.
Okay,
Because
like what? If one argument you can share, what is that? I just want to
I
know the
think,
dimension.
sure, I think it could just be in terms of listening to anything that your parents say. So if I've told you that you have to do this, I think हमारे जमाने में हम घुट जाते थे, लेकिन हम कभी बैक आंसर नहीं करते थे हमारे पेरेंट्स को. We would just listen, we would get angry within, we would shout at ourselves within, but we would still listen to them somehow or the other. But I guess the generation that's now finds it very hard to just accept things when it's told to them. So they want to really undergo it, experience it, and then go ahead with whether it's right, wrong, and bear the consequences of it. But वो type of parenting मेरे समझ के थोड़ा बाहर था. बिकॉज मुझे लगा मेरे पेरेंट्स ने तो मुझे इसी तरह से पेरेंट किया है और यही पेरेंटिंग सही पेरेंटिंग है. सो आई वांटेड कि माय डॉटर शुड लिसन टू मी नो मैटर व्हाट. And it used to be the other way around. Every time I tell her you must do this, she would ask me explanations. Ki, why am I supposed to do this? What is it reasons for this? And I didn't want to give answers. Bhai, I was the parent. Finally, she has to listen to me. So then I started to think ki, yeah, there is some problem with this child. She's not listening. What do I do? So then I had a conversation with someone and they said, why don't you take her for some coaching? Maybe it will help. So I did take my child for coaching, but lekin in
How
that journey,
how old she is? I just want to know that.
now she's 20,
At that
but then
time,
she was 13.
I got it.
So
Please
she was
continue.
a teenager. Huh. So when I took her for coaching at that point in time, they coached her just for one session, I think. And then my mentor told that it is you I need to work with. So I was like, me? Like, why me? Of all the things, it's not me who is a problem. It's my
Right,
daughter who's a problem.
right.
But then I thought, chalo, theek hai, no harm. Let's understand kya hai. When I started working, I started to realize that every individual has a different way of living and a different way of thinking. But what we try to do is we want everybody to work as per us. And that is where the whole problem starts to happen. So, in that journey, I wanted to understand more. I wanted to really go deep. So, at the age of 40, I started studying further and I did my post graduation in psychology.
Okay.
And that's when I really understood how the mind works and what is the mindset of different people and how it works. Then I got very inclined to coaching, and I somehow knew this was my forte, but I didn't know this was my passion as well.
Okay.
So then I started really going deeper, studying further into it. I did my accreditations, I got my certifications, and even today I'm studying. So I am right now as well studying spiritual psychology.
Okay.
And it's a 2-year program from the US, which is more about going very deep within yourself and understanding yourself. So today I can very proudly say that my daughter and I have the best relationship. I mean, not that we don't fight, not that we don't have arguments today, but I guess the understanding that we have with each other today is, touchwood, marvelous because of the kind of way I allow her to openly work, be open with me. And at the same time, she has given me that same freedom because she has seen me change over the years.
Okay, she saw you change, that's why she changed, or she changed herself and you change yourself and then you connect?
I guess she saw me change.
Right.
And because she saw me change, she changed her ways as well.
Understood.
So I won't say that she doesn't question me today.
Right.
I won't say that she doesn't ask me 10 questions, but I have realized that as a parent, the more open I can be with her,
Right.
the more, I'm not saying you have to always be friends, because
Right.
it's important to be a disciplined mom.
Right.
But at the same time, it is important to give that, that openness to your child, that
So
they
they
are
can come
able
and share their
with you.
things, right?
They are able to be very, very open with you, and they should know that even if they make the biggest mistake,
They can come and share
you
with you.
are going to stand there to support them. But at the same time, they also have to bear the consequences of it.
Right.
It's not that you let them go free,
Right.
they have to understand that. And I think that is very important for a parent child relationship, really.
Right. So आपने ये सब you just started working on that, your inner self, your inner engineering, I would say. तो ये सब शुरू हुआ चीजें हुई, तो आपका क्या कंक्लूजन निकल कर आया इस पे? आपने पहले की बात की कि हमारे टाइम में अगर ये सिनेरियो मेरे साथ होता, मुझे पता है मेरे फादर मुझे कमरे में बंद करते और बस कुट देते और कुछ नहीं करना था, कोई साइकोलॉजी नहीं, कुछ नहीं है, ये कैसे कर दिया। तो आप मेरा तो पर्सनल मानना ऐसा है कि शायद एटमॉस्फेयर का चेंज हो गया है एंड किड्स बिकेम अ मॉडर्न इन नॉट अ बैड वे। उनको लगता है नाउ आई कैन थिंक अबाउट मी, आई कैन टॉक अबाउट मी, विच इज नॉट रॉन्ग इन टुडेज सोसाइटी। बट कल हम इससे बिल्कुल अपोजिट थे, इस हमारे टाइम में नहीं मानता था कोई कि पापा ने जो बोल दिया वो बोल दिया। और ऐसा नहीं सिर्फ मेरे साथ था या आपके साथ था, ये हमारे सारे साथ के लोगों के साथ ऐसा ही था। तो उस टाइम पे शायद एटमॉस्फेयर अलग था, आज एटमॉस्फेयर अलग है, फ्रेंड सर्किल अलग है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज अलग है, बाहर के सिचुएशंस अलग है, इसलिए वी बिकेम बोल्ड, which is important as well. बट मुझे लगता है कि शायद बाहर जितना भी माहौल बदला है, हमारी सराउंडिंग चेंज हुई है, इस वजह से भी हमारे प्रिंसिपल, हमारे एथिक्स बदल गए। मैं काउंसिल करता हूँ स्टूडेंट्स को, ऐसे प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत आते हैं मेरे पास कि बच्चों को लग रहा है कि आई कैन टेक डिसीजंस अबाउट मी, और जब उसको वो जस्टिफाई करते हैं तो आप आर्ग्यू भी नहीं कर सकते, आपका डिसीजन आपको ही लेना है।
And I think ये इसलिए भी हुआ है क्योंकि they have so much exposure, साकिब.
एक्सपोजर
हमारे टाइम पे हमको कोई exposure was very very minimalistic.
बिल्कुल
We were only our family, the people around us. Like even TV exposure, internet exposure was so very very little. I mean, I don't remember in our times we even had internet. It came to us very very long बहुत सालों बाद it came to us. So I guess that is definitely one aspect of it. And then as the generation, so if you ask, like if we ask our parents, they feel that we were way ahead of their life.
राइट
And if we ask our parents, they felt that their parents were way ahead of their life.
राइट
So it is every generation is having the same issue,
Same.
is having the same concern.
राइट
It's just that it's at a different degree.
राइट
So today's children are more well versed, they are
Right.
more knowledgeable, they
राइट
have more exposure, and because of that they feel that they know more or they are able to do more. And it doesn't matter whether it's children or whether it's elders. I
Right.
mean, who listens to whom?
राइट
So if someone tells me you don't do this, even a 6-month-old child को you tell do not touch this, वो child वही चीज
वही
जाके
करेगा।
touch करे.
राइट दैट्स
Because
ह्यूमन नेचर व्हिच इज डेवलप्ड
it's human nature, we want to learn from our experiences.
राइट
So sometimes as parents we are fearful,
राइट
कि हम if we allow our children to go through this experience, they will be hurt because we have been through that, and
Right.
that is what stops us from letting them do things.
राइट
But we forget that it is their journey,
राइट
and they have come here to live that journey, so they have to experience it, if not
Right.
in this form, in some other
इन
form.
सम अदर फॉर्म
They will have to go through it.
राइट
So as a parent we have to make them aware that this is what you will experience, this is what you can go through, and you should be prepared for it. If you're ready to learn from our experience, fair enough. If not, then you have to go through the whole experience, go through it, and then come out of it.
राइट ग्रेट ये
It's hard, it's very challenging,
अंडरस्टैंड
but so that's why I say it's more work for parents than it is for children.
एग्जैक्टली अपने बिल्कुल और ये कॉन्वर्सेशन इतने अच्छे डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है और बट हम इसकी ज्यादा बात करेंगे तो मुझे लगता है इसका टाइटल पेरेंटिंग के ऊपर हो जाएगा तो मैं पीछे जाता हूँ आपने एक स्टेटमेंट बोला था अभी तक मेरे दिमाग में है वो कि मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है लोगों के प्रॉब्लम्स को एनकाउंटर करना रिजॉल्व करना उनकी बात सुनना इस काइंड ऑफ काउंसलिंग सेशंस तो मैं जानना चाहूंगा एनी ऑफ योर एक्सपीरियंस वेयर यू फेल्ट माय गॉड मतलब मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा आपने कौन सा ऐसा इंसिडेंट है जब कोई आपके पास आया हो आपने वो प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व की हो एंड यू फेल्ट मेस्मराइज्ड मतलब यार बस मजा आ गया
Saquib, I cannot single out one experience क्योंकि every client that comes to me or every person that I have worked with, even the smallest change that they bring within themselves, and when they message me that today I have realized that it was so simple, or I have realized कि just अपने आप पे काम करके I can make things around me so different, that really makes me so happy that I cannot even express it in words. I have had a situation where one of my client, I mean, of course, I am not going to name the client or
100%.
say anything about the client, but they had differences in the family, and when she started working with herself, she started to automatically see that people around her are changing the way they behaved with her.
Okay.
So when she wrote this to me that just by working on myself, people have started to behave differently with me. I think that was my first client, and it brought tears to my eyes because that is what I had experienced with my own child.
Right.
And that is what I am now able to pass on to somebody else. So that moment and that happiness, I think no money, nothing can be valued against it.
Right.
And it is just such a beautiful moment for
Right. I can see that
for
emotion.
any counselor, for any person who works in this field.
100%.
They will understand.
I can see the emotions right now as well, the way you're talking about it, because I think that's the beauty of following your heart. That is the beauty of following your passion. I left everything behind just to follow my passion. And I can totally understand that. That's why I tell to every student that you should always follow your passion. You should always go where your heart is. And it is very important to understand that. So, ये आपकी
Can I
journey.
stop you here for a minute, Saquib, because kabhi kya hota hai na कि we don't know our passion.
Right.
So sometimes ऐसे हो जाता है कि we think this is our passion, but वो that is not really your passion. And sometimes very far in your line, you realize, "Arey, this was my passion." So I want to tell people that time also don't let your passion go, because that happiness which you will get with that passion, you can, of course, not, you don't have to shut your work and then go to your passion, but simultaneously also if you work with it, nothing can make you more happier.
Right, right. That's true, and that's 100%. Some people are lucky enough to got their passion in the early age, and some
Yes.
people find it hard. और मुझे लगता है, I think people who got it late, they are the responsible of that, because आप 18 साल, 19 साल, 20 साल की उम्र में आपने एक चीज ट्राई की, नहीं काम की, आपने दूसरी ट्राई की, नहीं मजा आया, तीसरी चीज आपको लगा कि यार मुझे बास्केटबॉल प्लेयर ही बनना है, आपने खेला, आप 3 महीने के बाद हो गए, जो आजकल जनरेशन के साथ हो रहा है, उसको लग रहा है कि ना आफ्टर समथिंग एंड देन फीलिंग, यार इससे तो कोई मजा ही नहीं आ रहा, इससे तो मुझे कोई, दैट इज द रीजन दे थिंक दे आर एमलेस, और जब तक वो वहां पहुंचते हैं तब तक वो ब्रोक हो जाते हैं, मतलब फिनिश डन, फैमिली प्रेशर, पेरेंट्स का प्रेशर, नंबर्स का प्रेशर, सब कुछ करना है उनको, तो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड, ये मैच्योरिटी के साथ ही शायद आता है, बट मैं यही बोलता हूँ कि जो भी आपको 50 चीजें पसंद है ना, एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट डूइंग दैट इंस्टेड ऑफ ब्लेमिंग योर पेरेंट्स कि मैं करना ये चाहता था, मैं कर नहीं पाया. इट्स बेटर टू स्पॉइल द रिलेशन टुडे एंड डू व्हाट यू वांट, प्रूव योरसेल्फ राइट, इंस्टेड ऑफ कर्सिंग योर पेरेंट्स कि यार ये मैं नहीं कर पाया. क्या पता आप उतने स्किलफुल हुए ही ना कि आप वो कर पाए, लेकिन आप अपने पेरेंट्स को तो ब्लेम नहीं करेंगे ना, आप खुद को ब्लेम करेंगे कि हाँ ये गलती थी, नहीं कर सकता था, मुझे बनना था इंजीनियर, मैं नहीं पढ़ सकता था 15 घंटे, मुझसे नहीं हो पाया. लेकिन अगर आप पेरेंट्स की सुनते हैं तो ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है समझना कि आपको कब क्या डिसीजन लेना है और कब क्या नहीं. मैं ट्रेनिंग के ऊपर मूव करूंगा, बिकॉज आई कम फ्रॉम द सेम बैकग्राउंड एज अ कम्युनिकेशन ट्रेनर. आई एम स्टिल लर्निंग थिंग्स, आई एम स्टिल trying to find clients. Generally, I work for students and professionals to help them to become a confident speaker. तो ये ट्रेनिंग के बारे में आप बताइए कि if somebody want to become a trainer, a mentor, a coach, is it required a 20-year of experience to go in that industry, or somebody who is 21-year-old who is writing on their Instagram that I am the life coach? So is it okay to do that, or we need to experience first, then become and come in that industry?
So it's a very it's like a chicken and egg question, you know. Okay. Because what happens is that, of course, experience counts. I will not say that experience is not important, because until you don't go through that experience and exposure, you will not better yourself.
Right.
But that does not mean to say that a 21-year-old cannot be a coach or cannot be a mentor.
Okay.
Because if that 21-year-old has worked enough on themselves or has understood themselves far earlier than someone who's 40, 45, definitely that person can be a coach. Like if you see a CEO today, in previous days, there were CEOs who were only like 45, 50, 55.
Right.
We have a 21-year-old who's an entrepreneur and at a very high level of entrepreneurship.
Right.
So it's a very, again, it's about your passion. It's about how much you are involved in that work, how much you understand people. And somewhere when it comes to training, coaching, communication becomes very, very important. You know, listening, speaking, and also sometimes just not saying anything. Because we listen, but we listen just what we want to listen.
Right.
There are so many levels of listening which we miss to listen.
We just hear,
so
not listen.
Exactly. So I think if a 21-year-old understands that aspect of listening, is able to communicate only what they think is important to communicate rather than beating around everything and trying to platter it, which the other person has not understood. And also at times, you know, we just have to stay back. Right. And let people do their things, because that is called as neutral observation, which most of us forget to do. We always are in a, I have to fix it, I have to fix it.
Right.
When you take a step back from that fixing mode, I think that part comes with maturity, and right. that may not come very early on in life. So it's a very dual kind of a situation here.
Yeah, so the conclusion is, if somebody at the age of 20 want to become a relationship coach, he can try and go ahead with that. But what matter is how much he's involved, how much is level of understanding, how much he's working on himself, how much he's working on the skills of communication and understanding and analyzing problems. This is what you are trying to say, right?
Absolutely.
That's great. If I talk about training, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो शायद इस कॉन्वर्सेशन को सुन रहे होंगे, उनको ट्रेनिंग इंडस्ट्री में जाना है संगीता जी, ठीक है? उनको किसी भी ट्रेनिंग, वो कम्युनिकेशन ट्रेनर हो सकते हैं, वो इंग्लिश ट्रेनर हो सकते हैं. क्या प्रोसेस है? मतलब इट्स नथिंग लाइक अ फिलोसॉफिकल. कैसे टेक्निकल तरीके से एक इंसान को, आप बीइंग अ 21 ईयर ओल्ड हैविंग एक्सपीरियंस इन दुबई, आई जस्ट वांट टू नो कि कैसे कोई इंसान जिसको ट्रेनिंग में बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, he want to help, वो अपने स्किल पे भी काम कर रहा है, बट उसको पता ही नहीं कि मैं क्या करूं. मैं कंपनी में एज अ ट्रेनर ज्वाइन करूं, मैं फ्रीलांसर ट्रेनिंग करूं, आपने बोला यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ क्लाइंट्स, मैं क्लाइंट्स को अप्रोच करूं, what to do, what is the first step to do that?
See, again, training is a very broad, like as you just said, whether you are training in a company, whether you are training as a trainer, a freelancing trainer, or whether you are, like, even when we are coaching or when we are counseling people, at some point we are also mentoring them. We are also training them on so many aspects of things. So training is an aspect of communication somehow or the other.
Right.
So if your communications is strong and you are very clear what exactly, because again, training is, you can be a trainer in a college, you can be a trainer in a corporate world, you can be a product trainer, you can be a technical trainer. So again, what are your expertise is what I would think the person needs to understand. And if his expertise are something where he can communicate it and the other person is able to understand it, then yes, that is the choice of line that I would think the person should look for and go forward for.
Okay. So is it easy for a fresher to go in a corporate as a trainer, or he should first find some, prepare a portfolio first before entering to corporates?
See, I think if we want to be a trainer, somehow you would know whether, in your life, you have been able to work with people. Do people really understand what you, share? How are you able to communicate your stuff? And sometimes you just have to learn, because if, like, when I started off as a trainer, I did not directly start off as a trainer in year one. I started off working as in an insurance company where I was vetting applications, understanding applications, and then slowly I had a mindset ki, if I start teaching this to people, how is that going to be? So then I started working on things which I could provide to people to do differently. And that's where I got picked up as a trainer, because then you're exploring different areas of your mindset.
Okay.
So I would think even a starter can become a trainer, but there has to be a journey. It's not like day one, you just get up and go and start training. Doesn't work like that. It's always a journey.
It's a journey, we understand that. But for example, I figured that out. मैंने अपने ऊपर काम कर लिया, मैं बड़ा क्लैरिटी हो गई मुझे कि भाई मुझे ट्रेनर ही बनना है, and that's how I want to move. तो मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा? मुझे according to you, freelance is better, or approaching companies for a job as a trainer is better? As a career point of view, मैंने समझ लिया कि मैं क्या चाहता हूँ, क्या करना है, स्किल पे भी काम कर लिया, मैं समझ गया कि भाई कम्युनिकेशन बढ़िया चीज है, वो मुझसे आती है, मैं कर देता हूँ इन्फ्लुएंस लोगों को. तो मैं क्या करूं? मैं एज एन एम्प्लॉयमेंट मैं अपने क्लाइंट्स को लिंक्डइन पे जाके ढूंढूं, इंस्टाग्राम पे ढूंढूं, फेसबुक पे ढूंढूं, अपने आप को मार्केट करूं, वीडियोस बना के भेजूं, या मैं naukri.com पे जाऊं, फिल्टर लगाऊं और डालूं कि ट्रेनर की रिक्वायरमेंट है. That is the step, very practical step to get the financial journey or monetary benefit from this profession. मैं चाह रहा हूँ क्योंकि बहुत सारे ट्रेनर से मैं मिल रहा हूँ, बहुत सारे ट्रेनर से मैं बात करता हूँ. Sometimes most of the trainer are broke, they are pretending they are earning a lot. और मैं हमेशा ये बात करता हूँ कि ये शायद जरूरत बन जाती है ये बताना कि मैं बड़ा अच्छा कर रहा हूँ. मैंने अपनी पूरी जर्नी में जब कुछ नहीं किया तब बताया कि कुछ नहीं किया, जब थोड़ा बहुत करने लगा तो बताया थोड़ा बहुत. बट लोग इतना कंफर्टेबल नहीं हो पाते, जे जस्ट ट्राई टू, उनको लगता है ट्रेनर है तो वो हमेशा दिखाना चाहिए कि मेरे पास बड़ा काम. मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर है तो उसको हमेशा ये दिखाना है कि मैं बड़ा मोटिवेट रहता हूँ, ऐसा नहीं है। वी आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स। आई डू फील बैड, आई डू फील सैड, आई डू फील लो। मुझे लगता है कभी कभी यार चीजें वर्कआउट नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, नहीं होगा यार, ये क्या करूं। मैं बैठता हूँ, अपने मेंटोर्स से बात करता हूँ कि कैसे करना चाहिए। तो एट द एंड हम इसलिए अपने आप को तैयार कर रहे हैं कि वी वांट टू ऐड सम वैल्यू टू पीपल लाइफ, प्लस हमें अपना करियर, अपने मॉनेटरी बेनिफिट को भी बिल्डअप करना है। तो ऐसे ट्रेनर्स को आप क्या एडवाइस करेंगे कि उन्हें क्या करना चाहिए टू गेट द फाइनेंशियल असेसमेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू यू?
See, if you ask me personally, if you already have a fixed job and you are working on a job, and you want to start with freelancing, always, it would be helpful if you start side by side, because then you know whether you're cut out for that kind of work or you're cut out for a 9 to 5. But again, as an individual, you have to be ready to risk when you move into an entrepreneurship, or whether you're ready to move into outside of a 9 to 5 job, which is a steady income. If you are comfortable to live your life where you are okay to go with the ups and downs, because in a 9 to 5 job, so okay, you go in the morning, you come in the evening, you have a fixed income. But when it comes to people like us who are entrepreneurs, we will be experiencing very varied
ups and downs.
Ups and downs. Today may be a good day, tomorrow may not be. So am I okay to go through that phase? Am I prepared to be all right in that phase? If yes, it's always a tried and tested thing, because you cannot decide before if I will be comfortable doing it. It was very hard for me personally to move out of a corporate world for 25 years and then take a plunge. Oh, okay, let me now start entrepreneurship, and I'll do very well. It was not easy. Even today, it's not easy. I'm not going to say that it's a smooth ride today. It is difficult. It is challenging. There are times every day when I do question myself, should I have kept my job, or should I have, just moved into this? But I am open to that phase now, and I'm okay with experiencing this journey. But if I'm not, then I think a job is a better option. That's my take on it.
Great. And I just want to conclude, I want to add in that, अगर आप कोई भी नौकरी कर रहे हैं और आपको लगता है कि आप ट्रेनर या स्पीकर बनना चाहते हैं, या आप किसी भी मुझे लगता है इट इज एन आर्ट फॉर्म, आप किसी भी आर्ट फॉर्म में जाना चाहते हैं, तो आप अगर रिस्क बेयर कर सकते हैं, जैसे मैंने 24 घंटे में अपनी नौकरी छोड़ दी थी, और सबको लगता है मेरी जिंदगी का सबसे खराब डिसीजन था। लाख रुपए की सेविंग करता था मैं महीने पे, मैंने नया एमबीए किया था, मेरी नौकरी लगी थी, बट मुझे लगा कि नहीं कर पाऊंगा ये, रात में नींद नहीं आती भाई साहब। तो अगर आप अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं, अगर आप अपने फैमिली का अपोज हैंडल कर सकते हैं, फाइनेंशियल चीजें हैंडल कर सकते हैं, टेक अ स्टेप एंड डू व्हाट यू वांट। अदरवाइज आप अपनी जॉब में रहें, try to create content what you want to do, start posting. Social media is a blessing for you. Let's see how people are responding, and then you eventually figure it out कि आपका एक बबल है, आप करना चाहते हैं। So wish you all the best if you want to become a trainer. तो अब हम इसको यहाँ conclude करते हैं। संगीता जी, मैं बस यही कहूंगा कि आपसे बात करके मुझे बड़ा मजा आया, और मैं मतलब मुझे पता नहीं, ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे मैं एक स्टूडेंट हूँ और मैं बैठा हूँ और मैं आपको सुनूं, आपसे पूछूं, क्योंकि मैं भी एज अ स्पीकर, एज अ ट्रेनिंग इंडस्ट्री में कुछ साल से काम कर रहा हूँ, और आई एम स्टिल लर्निंग। आई एम नॉट ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं बहुत बड़ा कुछ कर रहा हूँ, बट इंच बाय इंच, डे बाय डे आई एम ट्राइंग टू डू दैट। पहले मैं ये सेशंस डायरेक्ट लाइव करता था फेसबुक पे और इंस्टाग्राम पे, मुझे लगा कि नहीं मजा आ रहा है, ऑडियंस को अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, तो इसको कंक्लूड करके अच्छे से प्रॉपर यूट्यूब के लिए मैं बिकम अ कॉन्फिडेंट स्पीकर का एक सीरीज बनाऊं, ताकि मैं अच्छे लोगों को लाके उनकी जर्नी से लोगों को इंस्पायर कर पाऊं, लोगों को ये बता पाऊं कि कम्युनिकेशन कितना जरूरी है, regardless of your profession, in which situation you are, what gender you have, in which company you are working, what is your passion, profession, communication बड़ा important है। आप चाहे अपने बॉस से कैसे बात करते हैं, अपने बच्चे से कैसे बात करते हैं, अपने पार्टनर से कैसे बात करते हैं, कम्युनिकेशन कैन रिजॉल्व एवरी गॉड डैम प्रॉब्लम इन द वर्ल्ड। सही वक्त पे सही इंसान से सही तरीके से बात करने से मुझे लगता है यू कैन रिजॉल्व एवरी प्रॉब्लम। सो यही एक रीजन था कि मैं ये सेशंस कर रहा हूँ, मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा, आपने अपना टाइम दिया, और मैं लास्ट में आपसे जरूर पूछना चाहूंगा कि आपको ये कॉन्वर्सेशन कैसा रहा?
It was a lovely conversation, because I've done a couple of conversations with a lot of people, This is very different. I mean, you never gave me any context of it before, what it's going to be like. So it was very different. And I would think it will help people who are a little not sure about how they want to take their life. But yes, as you said, communication is key to everything. And it's not about a child, it's not about a mid age, it's about any age. And how you communicate is so key to relationships, whether it's relationship with yourself, whether it's relationship with your partners, or with any stranger as well. It is so important how you communicate. And in communications, the last and most important thing is also setting boundaries. Because kabhi kabar na, we flow with our communications and we forget ki where we have to stop.
Right.
That is also a very, very important key in communication. And thank you so much for having me on this.
That's
It
pleasure.
was
Pleasure is all mine. और मैं हमेशा अपने गेस्ट से बोलता हूँ कि कॉन्वर्सेशन 15 से 20 मिनट का रहेगा एंड रेस्ट ऑल डिपेंड ऑन द वाइब्स एंड यू वोंट बिलीव जनरली कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि मैंने 15 मिनट में कॉन्वर्सेशन खत्म किया. कभी कभी होता है, मतलब आई डोंट नो यू, आपको भी नहीं पता मैं कौन हूँ, और बात करके लग रहा है कि यार नहीं अभी कोई इमेच्योर कॉन्वर्सेशन है, अभी मतलब ये ऐसे ही चल रहा है, मैं फील नहीं आ रहा मुझे. तो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है कम्युनिकेशन में आप कितना अच्छे से आप उसको आगे लेके जा सकते हैं. मुझे ये कॉन्वर्सेशन में बहुत मजा आया, इसीलिए 15 मिनट से आई थिंक कम्युनिकेशन ये सेशन हमारा 48 मिनट्स या 45 मिनट्स का हो गया एंड आई एंजॉयड एवरी बिट ऑफ इट. once again, thank you so very much. I will surely post it on YouTube and will share the link with you. So I want to say at last, thank you so very much for giving time, and I will surely be in touch with you.